are creating such giants. Amol basically, although he is a mechanical engineer, he has worked in many international IT companies, including Oracle. And more than that, he has interest in sociology and economics. There is a very famous organization called Artha Kranti. I think Amol, they are basically from Nasik, but they also have a branch at Pune. So he worked for them also. And last few years, he is coordinating the activities of Jnana Prabodhini, a group who are working on some of the research projects on sociology. So, if anything is missed, add the gaps.
Okay. Thank you very much, Vasudevji. Actually, I will just make few modifications. I am not alumni of Jnana Prabodhini, but I worked with Jnana Prabodhini from 2017, 16-17. I work as a coordinator for Samajik Shastra Adhyan Kendra, that is Social Sciences Study Center of Jnana Prabodhini. Yes, I was part of Artha Kranti, a movement actually. I worked with geometric software. I've done my MTech in mechanical engineering from IIT Bombay, then worked with geometric software. But when I joined geometric software, I happened to meet Anil Bokilji, and later I actually liked whatever work he was doing and joined the movement. We named it as Artha Kranti later. And as the part of the Artha Kranti study, afterwards I happened to read this book, Sacred Economics, which is in 2014. And I am really grateful to Vasudevji to, bring it back, those memories, and giving me opportunity to actually present, give some presentation or make presentation about this book. Vasudevji, sorry, I am unable to start my camera because of some technical issue, I think. Is that okay? But I am sharing the presentation. Is the presentation visible?
No, presentation is not visible. Okay, doesn't matter, and the camera is not getting on, doesn't matter. Incidentally, you have met that author also. That also you tell your memories of meeting that author in Pune. Yeah.
Yes. So actually, yes. So I actually happened to meet the author also. He was in Pune in 2014, and we actually also attended one get together with him, sharing circle, I would say. And actually we attended one conference also together. It was about the economics of happiness in Bangalore, and very wonderful actually person. So I will just again try to share, because the presentation, if I could able to share, it will be helpful. 1 minute. Yeah. Is the presentation visible?
Yeah, now it is visible. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, Vasudevji. Okay. So I am actually making this presentation about this book, Sacred Economics, and this is by Charles Eisenstein. And I will like to tell little bit about the author. And he is a teacher, speaker, writer, and a very original thinker. And the details are given below. But you also please go through his biodata whenever you get chance. And he actually, I like the person very much because he practices what he says, and he has offered all his creation in the spirit of gift. So while we were researching about Artha Kranti, we were actually working to enable systems or conditions for principled, prosperous and peaceful living together. and we come across Charles's work, and he has actually written very beautiful books, The Ascent of Humanity, Sacred Economics, The More Beautiful World Our Hearts Know Is Possible, and there are these latest further books, Climate, A New Story, and Coronation. Um, I was just going through that book again, and just came across my voice is properly audible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it is audible.
Okay, great. So I just came across this TED talk by Johan Rockstrom, who has actually devised the framework of planetary boundaries, and he has given a TED talk just in 15th August 2024 regarding what are the current conditions and what are the tipping point in climate change. And I will just give brief points regarding that we have already reached 1.2 degrees Celsius of global mean surface temperature rise, and this is the warmest temperature on Earth over the past 100,000 years. And till 210, we were rising by 0.18 degrees per decade, but 2014 onwards, we have rising temperature rising 0.26 Celsius per decade. And if this trend continues, in 20 years we will reach the 2 degrees Celsius rise and hit 3 degrees Celsius rise by 2100. And we are already getting, I mean, he says in this TED talk that we are already getting droughts, floods, heat waves as an invoices from Earth to us. And he had to, appeal to, economic angle of it. And he says that, we are going to lose 18% of GDP by 2050, and that is equivalent to 38 trillion US dollars loss per year. So I am like, for making the ecological sense or survival of the humankind or Earth, also he has to make a economic argument. Such are today's conditions. And I felt really, I mean, he was really expressing his concern. So I will just give you one passage from this book, which makes this condition pretty clear. And Charles asks you to imagine a situation that you are a president of the world and receive the following offer from the aliens. And the alien says that your supreme leader, a sustainable gross world product (GWP) is 10 trillion a year. We would like to make you offer of 600 trillion for the entire Earth. Um, True, we plan to extract all of its resources, destroy the topsoil, poison the oceans, turns the forest into deserts, and use it as a radioactive waste dump. But think of it, 600 trillions. You all will be rich. And what will be your reaction? And he says, of course you would say no, but collectively today we are essentially saying yes to this offer, and we are carrying out the aliens plans to making over the next 10 years perhaps 600 trillion through already we are heading towards that direction. And this appeals quite economic, and this is a contradiction between something which appeals economic and something which has a sense of towards ecology. So I wondered when I saw the TED talk, and I once again visited the Sacred Economics books, where Charles actually makes an argument for a different kind of economy. And he says that the current economics is based on separateness and scarcity, and can we have a economic based on oneness and abundance? And he says that we need a different kind of economics, and he calls it as a sacred. And all of us know that economics comes from a word economia, and oikos means house and nomos means law or rules of management, and our house is earth, and economics means management of earth. So how Charles defines sacredness is actually by two characteristics. Sacred means uniqueness and relatedness. So uniqueness, that a sacred object is one that is special and unique and one of its kind, and it is therefore infinitely precious, and it is irreplaceable. It has no equivalent and thus no finite value. So its value, it's invaluable because value can only be measured by comparison, and still it is unique, but it is also connected to everything else. So it is related and inseparable from all that went into making of it, from its history and from the place it occupies in the matrix of all being. So sacred economics, he means that actually making the management of the earth, realizing that it is a sacred thing. It's not replaceable, and it cannot be just monetized. Um, so this is a meaning he carries throughout the book, and this sacredness meaning is very, very important, having these characteristics as uniqueness and connectedness or relatedness to everything else. The purpose of this book is actually to make money and human economy as sacred as everything else in the universe. And when we understand the meaning of sacred, we feel that everything is actually sacred, but we don't treat things in that way. Charles says. So he wants this book to awaken the spirit of the gift that is latent within us, and to construct institutions that embody and encourage that spirit. The restoration of humanity to sacred state, bearing all the wholeness and harmony with nature of the hunter-gatherer time, but at a higher level of organization, because we cannot go back. The fulfillment and the abdication of the gifts of the hand and mind that make us human. To tell a new story of money, to eliminate what new agreements we might embody within this fiduciary talisman, so that money is the ally and not the enemy of the more beautiful world our hearts tell us is possible. And I am, as far as possible, using, of course, Charles' words. Um, um, he says that he does not seek to abolish property, but to transform it as a part of larger transformation of human beingness. And he wants to have a system that rewards flow and not accumulation, creating and not owning, giving and not having. So describes a money system that preserves the freedom of private property without allowing its owner to accrue unfair advantages. And he says that he dedicate all his work to more beautiful world our hearts tell us is possible. However, he says that he is, while writing this book, he is using the tools of mind, but speak what is it in his heart. So he, use the mind logic as a tool, but he wants to talk about what is alive in his heart. So, giving the broad overview, the Sacred Economics book operates on 4 levels. It offers a fundamental analysis of what was gone wrong with money. It describes a more beautiful world based on different kind of money and economy, and it explains the collective actions necessary to create the world and the means by which these actions can come about. And it also explores the personal dimension of the world transformation and the change in identity, and he called that living in a gift. So till we make the transition, how we can live at a personal level. So the book is divided into 3 parts. First part is he calls as economics of separation, part 2 the economics of reunion, and part 3 living in the new economy. So I will go first to the economics of separation. And we are, all of us, we know and we read and experience that there are many crises which are coming, and he calls that common root of such crisis can be called as separation. And this separation is separation from the self, separation from the society, and separation from the nature. But he calls that this is not actually a ultimate reality, but an ideology or a story or a projection. So for defining this story of separation, he says there are 2 parts of it: a story of self and story of the world. And the story of self, that is the discrete and separate self, he says it's bubble of psychology, or a skin encapsulated in soul, or a biological phenotype driven by its gene to seek reproductive self-interest, a rational actor, a rational actor seeking economic self-interest, a physical observer of objective universe, a mode of consciousness in a prison of flesh. So, story of self means what we believe about ourselves, and the story of world is what we believe about our world. So, this story of world he calls a story of ascent, that story of growth. And the humanity is starting from state of ignorance and powerlessness and is harnessing the force of nature and probing the secrets of the universe. So it's like the story where humanity wants to conquer nature and to control all the nature and increase the human realm on the nature, and expanding human realm and converting nature into more of resources, goods, property, and ultimately money. So this is these two aspects he calls as fundamentals of a story of separation, including story of self and story of world. So many, he has given different aspects from psychology, from biology, genetics, to economics, and he sees how the way in which the contemporary biologists, economics, psychologists, mainstream actually what we call, look at the self as well as the world. And not in the book, but one of his talk, he gives this analogy that we are playing a game of musical chairs, and where there are number of people who are playing, and the number of chairs are always less than the number of people they can accommodate. And then the music starts, and people try to fit in. When it stops, people try to fit in the chairs, and some of them actually go out of the game if they can't fit in. And then he says, if we actually make the rules very stringent, like say the people go out of the game, no, they go out of economy or community, if they don't occupy the chairs, then what we will see, and we will certainly see that people are really fighting with each other, competing very hard with each other, probably killing each other to fit in the musical chairs. And when we do that, the economists, biologists, genetic experts, and psychologists all are observing, and then making these comments about story of self and the world. And but he questions that nature of human, which is maximizing self interest or separated from everything else. And he says this behavior is actually the result of the structure of the game which we have set in, and why we need to have less chairs than the people we want to fit in. And probably throughout this next presentation, I think this will get clear. So the economics, current economics is based on two central axioms, that is scarcity and people, and it says that people naturally seek to maximize their rational self-interest. And he says that both of these are true in very narrow realm. So he asked these questions, that what is the purpose of money, and this underlying structure of all the problems, the underlying structure is the structure of money which is there. And he questions that, so money is there to facilitate the exchange or connect the human gifts with human needs, and then why it has turned into this agent of scarcity. So why it fails to connect gifts and needs. So he says that the problem, and we also feel that the problem is not of productive capacity or lack of willingness to help, but the problem is of the mechanism. And we see many examples, like, well, people will love to feed poor, restore nature, but they don't do that. because these kind of jobs or work don't give them money. And why money is in this way? It fails to connect gifts and needs. And one of the conventional opinion is like greed, human greed, and we blame ourselves for this greed. But Charles, goes deeper and asks whether greed is a cause or greed is a symptom. And he says that greed is a symptom, and actually greed makes sense only in the context of scarcity, and greed doesn't make sense in the context of abundance. So he says that greed is also a perception of scarcity, and the scarcity is also not reality. And he gives example that even rich people, I mean the poor people feeling scarcity is okay, but rich people tend to be feel this scarcity, and they tend to be less generous than the poor people. And he actually, in the book, he gives some research examples also. um, so the wealthy also perceive scarcity when there is none. So what if, and could it be that money itself is causing this perception of scarcity, and this perception is an individual level as well as on the systemic level? So he talks about this systemic level perception. um, so money is defined by in two ways. One is what it does, and we all know these famous things like medium of exchange, unit of account, and store of value, the functions. That is a functional definition of the money. But he also says that what it is actually, and it is a story. So a story which or myth or narrative which actually induces a collective hallucination of scarcity inside us, and it also has a structure. So as it is a story or a human construct or a social construct, we also have a power to change. So he mentions the evolution of money, and I think we all know that previously it used to be a pure commodity, like we used to use grains, etc., to for exchange, and then it converted to a symbol with partially coins, so something which has material value as well as value derived from the social agreement. And now it is a pure symbol, or what we can call pure social agreement, that is a credit money that we have today. Um, so this is the kind of evolution of money from a pure commodity to pure symbol or pure social agreement. Um, so these are some of the characteristics that make money really unique. So it is both concrete and abstract. It is very homogeneous. So say each 10 rupee note is same. Physically it can be different, old, new, whatever, but it is basically have the same value of 10 rupees. And money actually abstracts value from the form it has. It is impersonal. So who gives you money, it doesn't matter. It value remains same. So it is disconnected from the other relations that we have. It has become universal aim as well as universal mean. We everything can be bought by money, and I mean we all won't agree to it, but more and more realms of humanity are coming under, or nature are coming under monetary realm, and it is unlimited. It is a number. Currently with digital currency, we just change the bits and increase the money or decrease the money. So how the money is created, and now all the notions like money is created with a gold backup or something, they are now gone. And typically money now in current world is created to interest bearing debt. And whenever one banks give loan to somebody, that money gets created in his account, and the money always has a positive interest. The loan always has a positive interest. So the total amount of money in circulation is always less than the total amount of debt. And if you see that, suppose I give a loan of 100 rupees and the 10% interest rate is there, so I have to return back 110 rupees back to bank, and that additional 10 rupee is not there in the economy. So how that 10 rupees will be generated? So more and more realms of the economy or human things should come inside the monetary realm. So this I hope you understand, otherwise we'll discuss this more in the question answers. So basically there will be always less money available, and to pay that additional extra money we have to bring, generate more money and bring more realms of human activities into monetary realm. So because there is a less money available and more we have to pay, there is a competition, there is a structural scarcity, and so more for you uh, is the spirit behind this monetary exchange, is more for you is less for me, and so we compete. And competition is very very natural in the environment of scarcity. So how this interest is justified in the current world? And it is being said in new classical economists that human nature wants to consume as much as possible right now, and because when we give money to somebody, we don't consume it right now, we delay our consumption, and that's why the interest should be given for as a reward for that delayed gratification. But is this a nature of human being? And Keynes, I mean Charles gives reference of Keynes, he has another view. He says that human beings naturally tend to spend smaller proportion of their income as their income rise. And uh, Keynes believed that people have propensity to save without needing an incentive to defer consumption. So he thought that this propensity to save can be destructive when it leads to concentration of wealth. So if what Keynes says, if Keynes proposition is true, then what this means is, even money has a diminishing marginal utility. So more I have it, the less useful each additional dollar is to me. And this is actually in the mainstream economy, this is rejected, and it is rejected also due to this, a property of money, of storing value. Also, it means that if money is subject to diminishing marginal utility, the optimal distribution of money is equitable as possible. So he makes an argument against the interest, and because we know that it is called as usury also, that additional interest actually creates certain characteristics for money, and they put certain characteristics for economy as well. So whenever we charge interest, it has a growth imperative. It puts pressure on the commonwealth and other relations. So also suppose we have a growth higher than the growth rate as higher than the interest rate, then everything is okay. Like suppose we are having a growth rate 20% and the interest rate charge is 10%, then the producer can actually get a profit of 10%, he can repay the loan, and all that is okay. But if we have a growth rate which is less than the interest rate, then the problem begins. Then actually what happens? Then the bank actually takes the assets from the debtor, and this way the concentration of wealth happens in the hands of people who have capital. So um, so if you have read the Piketty's work, he claims that the interest rates have always been higher than the growth rates in majority period of the humanity, and that means there is a systemic concentration of wealth in the hands of some few wealthy people, and we can see the economic disparity um, disparity all over the world actually. So some another effect of money, Charles points out, is that it converts everything into commodity, and all things are seen as identical, and it has gone to an extent that we also see humans as resource, and they are just replaceable, that one programmer can be replaced by another and so on. So this actually homogenizes and depersonalizes us or alienates us from all our other relations, and this is actually this actually manifests the story of maximizing self-interest. So we all see always as everything as goods, services, and money can buy goods, services, and it also buys the intangibles like social status, political power, divine goodwill, etc. Money is becoming addictive. It gives illusion to fulfill real needs like connection, self-respect, freedom, but it doesn't. So addiction is what, when we feel that it will give us happiness, but it creates illusion of that, and so we consume more and more of it. So money in the current world has become addictive. Money is also a corpse of commons. Like I mean, it embodies everything which previously was free, or like in few years back we didn't used to sell water, or something like milk was not also sold. Fruits are given in gift. So but now it is actually all that is common now has monetized, and all kinds of commonwealth, so like natural, social, cultural, spiritual, they are converted into products and paid services. So also all our needs are served now by paid services or paid products. So for human community, for forming any genuine community, we want actually fulfillment of needs through our human exchanges. And now because all our needs are actually served through the monetary realm, in the monetary realm, through products and paid services, our genuine reasons or the underlying base for forming communities is lost. And we all experienced this few years back. The way in which we used to interact, have bonding, have communities, that is day by day reducing, and the individualism is growing, and money is one of the cause for it. So in nutshell, money gives us these conflicts, and all of us have experienced this in some way or other. There is a conflict between money and personal relationship. There is a conflict between profit motive or benevolent motive. So anything having more money, we suspect actually. Also, there is a conflict between linear and exponential growth in financial wealth versus cyclic process in the nature. There is a conflict between medium of exchange and store of value. How can a store of value can become a good medium of exchange? Both served by money itself. The interest-based money system and the gift economy. There is a conflict between that. And also there is a conflict between something which is measurable and something which is immeasurable, quantifiable. Something like intimacy, love, kindness. This is not quantifiable. And there is always a conflict between that. So also there is a conflict between individual and collective, and that is aggravated by money, because the principle of more for you is less for me is very much true in the interest based money. So there is a conflict between, if I do something for collective, it will not serve me, and that kind of conflict we all experience in the current economy. So these but what has happened is money has met one need, and that is of connecting the whole humanity, and it has actually connected or coordinated all our human activity, and so that the humanity is formed into one meta human organism. which is functioning together. So Charles says that there is this beautiful function of money which it has served, which has actually enabled all the coordination across the globes, and we are working as one humanity. But previously, we were in our childhood where we are growing, so our economy was growing, so our human activities footprint is growing. But now we have reached the limits of it, and now we have actually entered into adulthood where we should stop growing and start maturing. And he gives this analogy that human being now has to stop growing and start maturing, and we should have structures for the same. And he says that when we are in the childhood, we used to treat earth as a mother earth, and now we have to where we will take everything from our mother and don't have to give anything in return. But now we have entered into a zone which is we have to see earth as a lover earth, because we have entered into a humanity has entered into a adulthood, and now we have to reciprocate, so we have to give back to earth. We just can't take everything from earth like we take from our mother, and we have to give back to earth, and we have to design systems for the same. So Vasudevji, actually, I think I have used half hour already. Uh, how much time I have?
Well, you can take some time, no problem.
Okay. Uh, I hope this is anyway one way, because of the lack of the time. I would have liked it to be interactive, but um, anyway, I will continue for 10 minutes. Now, I have explained the economics of separation. I mean, what Charles tells, and now what we can do to make this transition, resolve these conflicts, and find reunion between these aspects of human activity. And so, these are three fundamental issues of economy. The fundamental, important things we have to do: how to connect the provider of a gift with the person who needs that gift, how to acknowledge and honor those who give generously of their gifts, and how to coordinate the gifts of many people across the space and time in order to create things transcending the needs of gifts of an individual. So, if you see carefully, these three functions are served by money, that is medium of exchange, unit of account, and store of value. And these are very important functions, but they have the current design have a conflict between these functions. So that conflict should be resolved. So Charles present in this section his vision of monetary system and economy that is sacred, um, that embodies interrelatedness and uniqueness of things. It's not separate it's not separate from nature or the social context in which it operates. It reunites the realms of human and nature, so it connects human and nature. And it's also not something different from ecology. So in ecology, it's a cyclic process. Something grows, then it matures, then it decays, and it plows back its inputs or nutrients back to the system. But in if you see economy, monetary economy, it perpetually, it is designed for perpetual growth, and it is considered that it has to grow. So can we embed this circular structure or nature like structure in the money system? And Charles gives his vision of the money system. So he says that we have to create a new kind of money which enables sharing instead of greed, which enables equality instead of polarization of wealth. It should enrich the commons instead of stripping them off. It should have sustainability instead of growth, and um, it should actually shift the human identity towards connected self rather than individual self, separate self, and it should bound all beings in the circle of gift. So he aims to actually achieve this money structure, um, by designing different economic structure or money structure, I would say. And what are the different elements of this change? So first of all, he says that we have to inverse this interest mechanism, and the interest is causing this imperative on growth. So he says that what we can do is we have a negative interest on reserves, or even a physical currency. So suppose we keep just money in the bank, it will decay. So we'll have negative interest rate. So unless we do something positive, I mean something value adding with it. Uh, so if we do that, put negative interest rate on the bank money, of course people will move to the currency money. And so he says that we have to have a currency also which value decreases, and he has given mechanisms for that. And he give the mechanisms which are done in the past. Somebody like Silvio Gesell, who has suggested this money, and it was there in the past. It has worked, and it has helped to revive economies from recessions. It was never a mainstream thing, but it has been used. So throughout this book, actually, Charles gives examples, and he has done a thorough research. So at the end of book, we have a 4-page bibliography, and he has added notes everywhere where the additional information is given. And he has read many different philosophies about money and many different streams of thinking. And so it's not just a idea kind of. He has researched well, and so you have to read that book surely to know more about it. So so this negative interest thing, so anything, so this gives money a natural structure. So suppose if we keep a roti just like that without eating as well as without giving it to anybody, so the roti will decompose. So we'll not keep store roti for with us so that for a month, because we'll need it in future. So what we'll do is actually, because it decays or it decompose, we'll give it when it was good, has its value function, we'll give it to somebody who needs it. And so when we give it that way, we will receive when we need something. So this is a gift like structure or design which he intends for money as well. Then he talks about economic rent. So because people, we see, and all reports say that rich are getting richer. And so he gives that, and just because having money and generating money out of money, they are getting richer, and they are having many assets also, like land or something. And they are because these assets are getting scarce and scarce, they are increasing their values. So he wants to eliminate these economic rents, and he says that um, uh, uh, so there he had suggested land tax, and this was also suggested by other people, other economists. And he also says that there is a compensation for depleting of commons. So in the current economy, if you put waste into dump in the common areas, you don't incur any values. So all the economic and social natural cost and social costs are called as externalities, and they are negative externalities. So he wants to include them in the cost, so that the money structure and something good for society and the nature, they come in line. Currently the products which incur social and natural costs are cheaper, and so they are the choices of the people. And something like organic or something which processes the waste and everything, they become costlier and then not chosen by the consumers. So he wants to eliminate this discrepancy. So he wants compensation for depletion of the commons. So and internalization of social and environmental cost. So also, if we see currently that economies are global, and because of the scale of the production, some countries are dumping their products on your in other countries and actually distorting or destroying their local economies. And this is not good for environment, because the all the environmental costs increase as we make the production as global. And something which is not available in some community, importing it is okay, but something like food grains, and importing it doesn't make sense if we actually internalize the environmental costs. So to make this more effective, localization of the production and consumption, he actually advocates local currencies. And these local currencies, because currently we have global currencies and we have only one currencies for all kind of values, and this creates a discrepancy. Like somebody who's destroys, suppose somebody who conserves a forest and saves money out of it, keeps in rupees only or dollars only, and somebody who destroys that forest and converts that into wood, of wooden products or something like that, also stores its value um, in the same currency. But he advocates localized and different currencies to complement the mainstream currency. So it will actually absorb the shock of the currency failure, as well as it will give benefit, or it will actually strengthen the local economy. Also, just because we want job, we should not, dig the holes and fill it just to create the employment. So he suggests that all the commons, like say earth's actually resources like oil, water, air, all that those commons are actually meant for common everybody. And so for example, magnetic bandwidth also, so anything we earn from that, he wants to give it back as a social dividend to the people and everybody. So people, their basic necessities are taken care because they are global citizens, and they will work because they love to work and to add value, and they should not work for the survival. Um, so this also included in the scheme of social dividend. And also he actually suggests the economic degrowth. So currently economy has to increase, and that's how the nature is actually polluted and consumed. But he with the decrease in the currency and reserves, he want actually monetary realm to degrowth. So monetary economy should decrease, and the economy or exchanges in terms of gift should increase. So that's what his vision is. And so he want to incorporate the gift culture and also peer-to-peer economics. So the intermediaries like banks are can be removed, and can be substituted by peer-to-peer credit giving systems. And these things exist today also in some minority, but this in the different, completely altogether different paradigm, these things will be standard. So these will be the actually elements of sacred economy. And so what he says about these elements is they are tightly synergistic. So anything, only one or eliminating one will not help, because people will take the other excuses. So but each piece will naturally induce others, but the linchpin is the end of the growth. And so we have to degrowth, and the growth economy should not be there. So I mean, currently money is equivalent to the good, and amount of money increases, the amount of goods, I mean, in terms of goods also and services also, but the good being, well-being in the humanity, it is in assumed to be increased, but this is not true. We have seen. So actually, the monetary realm should decrease and the gift economy should increase, and the gift actually flows towards the greatest needs. So I mean, the transactional vision of hunter gatherer, all the ancient thing was, he said, is not true. Actually, it was gift economy where gift used to flow and reach somebody who really needs it. So people won't keep the gift, and anyway, anything you keep reduces the value. So we'll pass it on if you don't need it, and it will reach to somebody who desperately needs it. So the money economy will take the nature of the gift economy. So this new economy is actually but it preserves the current structures but gives it a new meaning. So it need not have a radically different structures altogether, but it gives a new meaning to current structures. So it's not you know it's a metamorphosis, like not completely sweeping away with the old, but changing the meaning of old structures. um, so he has a different vision of gift economy, new government, new world. I will not I will actually get into that into details, but I will shift to the different part, last part. So what are the personal actions in this new, when we are still following the story of old but making this transition? So relearning the gift culture. So in India we already, I mean, we are not as monetized as the Western world. So in villages and in many communities we can see this gift culture still alive. So for us it is little easier, but he suggests, relearning this gift culture, non accumulation. And so don't keep something which is there. We are trustee of our wealth. So we have to pass it on to somebody who can make a more creative and more better use of the wealth. So he also suggests right livelihood and sacred investing. So actually give money to restoration of the nature. um, so he called keeping wealth is a dharma. So you should not rob Peter to pay the Paul. And you should use the old accumulation for new purposes. And he gives many examples in the book that it is happening. Um, so working in the gift, trusting gratitude, business in the gift. Uh, Again these sacred professions. And gift, what he means is how he attributes gift, that you give something first and then ask the user to pay as he wishes, or declare whatever costs are incurred transparently to the person who wants to use it, and then give him the choice to pay you back whatever based on this information. And he narrates different professions like teaching, health, and all the professions. These are sacred professions. And he also says, whatever we measure we can control, and so we are into this obsession of measuring everything. And he says we should actually get into qualitative aspect also. So something which cannot be measured, something which is unquantifiable. And so that realm of unquantifiable, something which is not measured, like love, care, kindness, and all these aspects we should actually cherish and have gratitude for. And he says, the life itself is a gift. We have received it. We have done nothing to get it. So we have to acknowledge that and then give from that acknowledgement of being received. Also, he advocates new materialism, where the material is not separate from the spirituality. And material equally, the reunion of materialism and spirituality, and using the material things with the trusteeship. It goes with our karma yoga. So it's like material is also sacred. And so you cannot just throw away things, and you have to work for the beauty in the material aspect of the things also. So I tried to, actually, this is a injustice from me, try to cover all of this in 40 minutes. So whatever may be the effectiveness of my presentation, I request you to read this book. This is very nice book, and he also, he says that it has come through him, so he doesn't claim that ownership on it, and so he offers his insights, his work as gift to all. So it is in downloadable form on his website, and he actually himself also tries to live, and he is also in this journey. So he offers his workshop also in this gift spirit. Um, so it's a wonderful actually work, I would say, and I request all of you to, irrespective of my competence and today's presentation, please go through this book. I think it has a wonderful insights for our present and future. I think thank you and gratitude for giving me this opportunity for presentation. Thank you very much. So Vasudevji, I think I have finished my presentation, so we can have this discussion.
Thanks, Amod. Very comprehensive presentation. I'm sure this Charles must have been in real life, must be an Indian. All his views really, they're on the same page on what we are talking about.
Absolutely. He has Vasudevji. He has worked in China, and so he is aware about Eastern philosophies. And when he had come to India, so one of our friend in this gathering was sharing that he had children, 4 children, and one of our friend was sharing that how he is homeschooling his child. And I mean, homeschooling in the sense she is learning from all the elders and how we have families, and the Charles has tears in his eyes. He told us that his child, once he was on the lawn of playing on the lawn of neighbor, and the neighbors told him, get away, and this is our property. And so this is the state at which the law, stringent law and individuality has taken us. And he really had tears in his eyes when he heard that story of children learning from neighborhood, from elders, and learning to cook and everything. And he's a wonderful soul, I would tell you.
Very multidimensional. I mean, he has not seen from the economic point of view, he has multidimensional. In fact, I have used this quotable quotes in the last newsletter. And I was remembering that the gift, they may be calling it the gift, but actually these are in our culture itself.
Absolutely.
Vivekananda Kendra prayer, our energy is ended it Jivane Yavadadanam Syat Pradhanam Tatodhikam. Whatever we get from the society or the nature, we should give 100 times more.
Yes.
That's what our dharma. Unfortunately, everything has been monetized.
Yes.
Instead, I was remembering our Pankaj. 2-3 weeks ago, he gave the presentation, and in fact, he is also doing exactly what Charles is talking about. Whatever people have access, he is telling you, okay, you share it with the people, with the needy, and whenever he is giving to the needy, he is telling them that again you give back to the society. The child who has studied in his school, once he becomes the 9th standard, he should teach to the 4th standard student.
Absolutely.
So that again, the gifting, whatever you received from the earlier people, again he is trying to inculcate that particular value. And that's why I feel only we Indians can really do justice to the philosophers like Charles. And over to Madan, others also can give their expression, although time is up, but even then we can give some time for expressing their views. Over to Madan.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, Madanji, yes.
Thank you. I have posted the link also for this, rightly said by our Amolji about the book. One has to read it to experience it. I have posted the link. Probably people would love to go through the concept, and this book can download it and read it at their own pace as such. So, in fact, I am recalled with the incident which our Shanta Shila Nair was sharing where she used to, where she happened to visit a tribal area, where which when anyone passes away, they give back the whole culture of a whole property of them to the rest of the people. So the accumulation does not happen with an individual. So that is the perspective which she was sharing. So we are talking about tribal development and other things, and it looks from her perspective and also from the perspective on which we are looking at now, the accumulation, the greed component, where which the dispensation is being more the need of the hour. So that one thought came to me to be recalled as such. Probably to our working group members for the reflections with slogans to the contemporary realities where everyone is placed in their different levels. Over to the colleagues, over to the friends for the reflections. Karthi?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Amolji, for your thought-provoking speech. So, though we have been discussing about the issues related to what you have your speech now, but unfortunately, we have not read this book. So, I will. Thanks to you, Malanji has downloaded the file. We will definitely read and.
Prakashji also is there. Narendra Doshi, Prakashji.
Pranam, at the outset, really sincere gratitude. Thank you to dear Amolji for such a bringing across such a fine work. It's really pleasurable to listen all these things, that how a person, I don't know what is the background of Charles, whether he lived, he mentioned that he was in China sometime and understood by a person who lived in the Western society and thereafter thought of creating a paradigm is too different, is certainly really great. At the same time, to me, because we lead a lot of economics, and Amol also referred to Keynes' theory, the Maynard Keynes, Keynes economics, on which the whole world is dependent today, in the concept of rupee or concept of money and the value of money over the period and how it goes, and how this rupee has become something inseparable as a commodity which either provides something or takes something from us, whether it is quantifiable or not quantifiable. These are the certain paradigm. What I am getting out of this is that this world which we are imagining, it is imagining a world where the economics built on the different forms. Now, and there is a subtle reference of the need, want, and requirements. What we want, what is our need, and what is our requirement. These three words are really different, but they are loosely used for the same purposes. So once the society start making a differentiation between these things, we'll be nearer to the concept which Charles has mentioned. I was while he was speaking, I was going through the quickly from the book reference also, and the last paragraph of the book speaks. I'm reading from the Sacred Economics, that the mind is afraid to hope for anything too good. This is a great statement. That we like it and we love it, and as respected Bastuji mentioned, that traditionally also we have been taught to live in the world where accumulation is not good. Aparigraha, we have been telling all there. We should not have a greed. The definition of greed is wonderful the way it has been explained today. But aparigraha is something exactly is required, and how much we have to keep with ourselves. And the whole value of money and economics get changed once we start creating a paradigm around it. Here I remember the work of Mr. Henry David Thoreau, Walden. I read it around 2 decades back, and this book made a deep imprint in my thinking process, that whether the society, the way we are living, is really good or not, whether the experience of Thoreau in the form of his experiences in the form of the book which he wrote sitting around the small lake called Walden are nearer to the thinking process or not. These are the great thing. But my summation is as follows: that something which comes as a part of the evolution of the society, but at the same time there are many things which come out of the compulsion. I'm sure that the society over the period, the way we are going through the nature's curiosity due to over exploitation of the natural resources or changing the world order in a different way, we will be compelled to go with the ideal principles, which many of which have been mentioned in this work. And end of the day, it is very near to the our ancient thinking, where we used to think that this world is for everybody, each has to share it, and the concept of sharing and gift word has been used quite often in this book also, and that perhaps denotes the same spirit. But anyway, thank you, Amol. I'll go through with this book, and I'm very happy that you bring across such a great thing, and I'm very, very happy. Thank you very much.
पंकज, आपको कुछ बोलना है क्या? बोलिए. नरेंद्र जोशी, we have another 3-4 minutes. Sridhar, anything you want to share? Okay, Narendra has no comments. Okay, very good. Sridhar, then we can conclude with a prayer. Again, thanks Amol. Very good presentation.
Grateful to you, Vasudevji. I think I'm sorry if I have compressed too many things in limited time.
No, actually it is the book itself, actually we were thinking that it is covering all the aspects which our all our experts are talking about in our sustainable living.
Yes.
Kulkarni, linear growth, circular, all those aspects are coming. Only the vocabulary is different.
Absolutely.
It covers the entire exhibition which we are talking about.
Absolutely. So I also felt that if we can, when I was reading the book again, I was feeling that, if we can get people in touch with this something they will love. No?
Yeah, you are right actually. That is what thought was coming to my mind also. That such great minds, we should be in touch with them.
Yes.
And luckily, right from the beginning, I always say that it is not the monopoly of we Indians. There are many great giants in foreign countries also. Their vocabulary may be different, but definitely they are also thinking on the lines which we talk about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
Absolutely.
And this Charles is one such example. And the suggestions, etc., which he has given, they are not really impractical. And Prakash was telling that humanity has to change, or nature will slap you.
Absolutely.
The choice is yours. Whether you want to get kicks or you want to improve yourself. If you want to improve yourself of your own, then follow Charles what he is talking. Otherwise, there will be global warming, droughts, floods, etc. Only I wish today our Sanjay Banerjee would have been very happy to listen to you, particularly at the beginning itself you said that what he is talking about the global warming and sustainable development goals, because this is very, very dear to Sanjay Banerjee. But your presentation will be available, which will share to Sanjay Banerjee and the entire group.
Sure.
Correct, Sridhar. Amol, you your presentation. You share to the group.
Yeah, I will share. It's not very well made, but I will share whatever I had.
Okay. No, it's all right. The points are there already.
Yeah, sure, Vasudevji. Thank you.